Welcome back to another episode of the From the Stands podcast. JC here alongside Jacob. How we doing, brother?
Doing good. Another week down for this college football season. Finishing week 8. Man, this season's flying by. We technically only have 5 weeks left. A lot of teams have played 7 games. Some teams have played 8. So, this season's flying by.
Yeah, it which kind of sucks because obviously we wait all year for this pretty much, and it seems like it's almost over. I will say though, was when the college football rankings first came out, did they not do them earlier in the year? I feel like did they back them up now because we have more, uh, you know, a 12-team playoff as opposed to like the 4-team? Because I feel like we used to get these rankings like week 8 or 9, and now it's like or like weeks. I thought it was like week 7 or 8. Now it's like we're not getting them to what this will be week 9. I think we're getting them week 10 or after week 10. So it seems like it's just later in the year.
No, I feel that same sentiment, but I feel sure that it's been the same, all years, but we just kind of feel different about it now. But it does feel like years ago, before this 12-team playoff, it did feel like we were getting them around like week 7, week 8. And like you said, now we have to wait till, I should have looked it up, the actual date that it's coming out. But like you said, like week 10 or something like that. So
yeah, it's November 4th. So it'll be
okay.
after the, Halloween weekend of games.
Yeah.
So which will be, that'll be week 10. But I don't know.
I think that's exactly what it was last year, but it just feels like it was sooner than that. Yeah.
I'm just ready for the AP poll to stop like being the determining factor in where teams are ranked this year. So
no, I agree. I think they start to get it close to right as later in the season. So like this AP poll is a little bit better than it was, certainly week 2 or 3. But yeah, like you've stated multiple times, and I think Clint feels the same way. It's like, well, then now, but we still have to count those ranked wins from like week 2 and week 3 when teams should have been or shouldn't have been ranked. So yeah,
no,
the whole system needs to be redone.
Yeah, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. We definitely talked about it a few times, but I'm just like, you're right. I feel like lately it hasn't been as drastic, but man, it took a while to get here. But I think that's just kind of the season like playing out and the records proving right who's good and who's not. But all right, let's get into it. Let's cover last week's games, week 8, and then we'll get into previewing this weekend's upcoming games. We got some good ones, but holy cow, what a weekend for college football! I feel like we say that every time. But it seems that that's just what's happening. Starting off with Ole Miss and Georgia. The Rebels coming in ranked number 5. Lane Kiffin, trying to keep his team in the playoff hunt, going down to Athens to take on the Bulldogs. 43-35 was the final. Bulldogs get it done in a shootout. Kind of crazy, right? You expect this out of Ole Miss and the Lane Kiffin offense. Like we did not, at least I probably didn't expect for like Georgia to be able to not be able to win a shootout. I mean, like they've done that in the past, right? Like we remember that Georgia Alabama game of last year. But obviously, like Gunnar Stockton, he hasn't like had to throw the ball, like that or keep up probably like an offense quite like that. So it was just kind of not surprising to see. I guess I just didn't expect it because he hasn't really had to do it yet. I must say that he only threw the ball 31 times. Only threw the ball 50 times. But still, four touchdowns, no picks for Gunnar Stockton. That's obviously looks really good on the stat sheet. But Georgia just keeps on climbing, and I think they're under the radar still, a contender for the national championship.
Yeah, for sure. I think this kind of proves that both teams are really good. And it really proves that, Trinidad Chambliss is the real deal, because it's like, okay, yeah, he's done it against some slight lesser opponents, but also some good opponents too. I'm not trying to play down that, but like doing it at Georgia like that, like he played pretty well, scoring 35 on the Georgia defense, which a lot of teams have never been able to do. So, it took, even that being said, it took the game of a lifetime from Gunnar Stockton to beat this Ole Miss team. And what I think we leave this game with is like, hey, both of these defenses need some work done. I think both of them are not like the greatest, but I think Georgia also scored like on every single drive they had, which is wild. They never punted. They never turned it over on downs. It was all field goals, all touchdowns, which is insane. So yeah, defense was wish it was better for this game, but it was fun one to watch. And of course, add it to the list of spreads that I've been absolutely messed up by this year. Ole Miss was favored
Yeah.
7.5, at least when we got it, and Georgia wins by 8. So both got that pick wrong. But yeah, I
Yep.
think this is a good spot for both teams. Obviously, I think Ole Miss was 5th going into this. Now they're 8th, and Georgia was 9th, and now they're 5th. So still 2 playoff teams. Doesn't really hurt
Almost
either
a
team.
swap.
Yeah, almost a swap, and doesn't really hurt either team. So not bad for either one.
Yeah, no doubt. And to be honest, I didn't even realize that was the case as far as their drives go. Like I don't even know you can do that on a video game. That's pretty
I
tough to do.
can.
It's
Yeah.
that's tough to do, man. No doubt.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Bulldogs. All right, sticking with the SEC, moving on. Number 11 Tennessee traveling to Alabama to take on the Crimson Tide. They came in ranked number 6, 37-20 was the final. Tennessee just couldn't get over the hump. It felt like there were times where I'm like, yeah, come on, like let's make this a game. Let's get this closer because there's a lot of really, really close games this past Saturday. But I tell you what, Alabama is just proving that first week in Florida State, and if you look at the way Florida State season gone, obviously like there's more than just the one game in the season, and Bama has absolutely proven that. So yeah, just super impressive. Ty Simpson is, right now probably the Heisman frontrunner. Like I don't know if he's had his Heisman moment yet. He's not doing a lot of things that are flashy, but he can make every throw. He can move. He can get out of the pocket. He can make throws on the run, and that defense just seems to be getting better and better. So like it was crazy how quick the narratives changed. Week 1, is Kalen DeBoer the guy? Are these guys even like physical enough? Do they want to play at Alabama? Like what's going on? Where's Nick Saban? La 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 la. Now they're like, you can't tell me they're not top 3 favorite for the national championship. I know they're not ranked number. Well, actually, what are they ranked now? They were 6.
They're
What are they
ranked
ranked?
4th.
So
4th
they're
now.
ranked 4th. So I was gonna say not 3, but so I mean, I just tell you what, man, it seems weird, like that they're not under the radar. People are talking about them, but like they don't seem like this big scary powerhouse Alabama without Nick Saban. But I tell you what, the way they're playing, like absolutely terrifying for everybody because they just seem to be playing solid. Is almost just saying the word solid is almost underselling it, but they're just like they're not doing like there's not the crazy spectacular. It's just like just all around playing very, very, very good football. And as it gets later on in the year, like not turning the ball over, playing good defense is what's going to eventually win you the conference championship and win a national championship. And right now, they just seem like the most steady, consistent team. Reeling off, I think that was the 4th ranked win in a row. And obviously, they don't have an easy schedule the rest of the year. But I mean, I don't know how they're not favored in every single game, to end it. So they're just looking really good. I don't think Tennessee's out of it either. I think they still have a really good team. I think Aguilar is a stud back there. But yeah, just not enough to beat the Tide.
Yeah, no, obviously we both proven wrong again here. Both picked Tennessee plus 7.5. And yeah, Bama's pretty stout. And like I said, congratulations to Bama. I hate to say it, but they've really proven, that they're a pretty damn good team. And especially like you said, coming back after that week 1 loss against FSU, they turned it on. Like you said, the past 4 games have been insanely hard. Georgia, Vandy, Missouri, and now Tennessee. That's a hell of a 4-game stretch there. With 2 of those being on the road, and they get to top it off, finish in the last game of October at South Carolina this coming week, which we'll talk about in a little bit, which has just been an insane stretch of games. So if Bama can squeak through this and finish just the 1 loss on the year, that's insane. And one of the few teams we can possibly say is a good contender to compete for the national championship with Ohio State right now and Indiana. And possibly, like I said, the SEC favorite right now. I know A&M is technically ranked 3rd, just 1 spot above them. But I mean, right now, I think a lot of people would take Bama over A&M.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. This has got to be one of the most like mind freak, like shout out to Chris Angel situation we have going in college football right now, which is LSU traveling to Vanderbilt. Vandy's favorite at home. So like, okay, yeah, Vandy's favorite at home. Yeah, first time since like 1978 they're favored for some whatever ranked team. And I know I picked them to like cover. Like, do I think this Vanderbilt team like beforehand was capable of beating LSU? Absolutely, I did but at the same time, it's almost like too many things are going right. All right. Now Vandy's actually got a good record. They're favored at home. No chance are they actually going to beat LSU. I mean, 31-24 LSU gets it. I'm sorry, Vanderbilt gets it done. Diego Pavia runs for 80 something yards, only throws one touchdown, doesn't turn it over, throws for 160. Like, holy cow, Vanderbilt's 6-1. They're ranked what, 10th now or 11th?
They're 10th. Yeah, top 10
They're
Vandy.
10th, top 10 Vandy, and like legitimate top 10, right? Like, how do you not put
No,
them in the
yeah.
top 10 in the nation like right now? Which is, again, and Nick Saban kind of said on game day why he picked against them. It was just like they were just the bottom of the barrel, the one actual SEC game you knew you were going to win every single year. Like,
Yeah.
even the Mississippi States and the Kentuckys and stuff, like, Dak Prescott, Kentucky's had good team, like, right? Like, you just never know. But
Yeah.
Vandy has been that one where it's like, yeah, that's an easy one, no home field advantage, all this stuff. And here they are, 6-1, beating the blue bloods of college football, which is crazy. And obviously now game day will be in Nashville as they take on Missouri this weekend. Holy cow! Nashville's already a party city. Now you got game day going there. I cannot imagine what's going to be going on there this weekend. Imagine if that fell on Halloween weekend though. Holy
Oh
cow, that
gosh.
place would burn down. So it's probably a good thing
Yeah.
that it's the week before. But yeah, I know you picked LSU, and I, I get it because again, like that was kind of my mindset too. Like, okay, yeah, I picked Vandy, but like, do I really think they're gonna do it? Like, not necessarily. It's almost like too many things were leaning their way, which meant like, okay, yeah, it's actually gonna we're gonna get back to what college football is, and that's Vandy not winning games. But here we are.
No, that's a very good assessment there. Yeah, Vandy's now 6-1, like you said, and I think that's the first time they've been 6-1 or better since like 1950. I think is the stat, which is
Crazy.
insanely wild. But yeah, no, I have to give
Fresh off
Vanderbilt
back to back world wars, like
fresh off.
our
Yes,
guys were
sir.
in good shape, I guess.
Exactly. So I give Vanderbilt their flowers here. That's they certainly have accomplished it, and I thought they could accomplish this too. I thought they could win this game as well. I was just gonna try to say hey that LSU's got some mad expectations with Brian Kelly, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say the seats getting warm, but I think it's starting to get a little warm because LSU team should go up there. Even if Vanderbilt's a good team, I don't think this is a great team, like a national championship contending kind of team. Like if
Right.
they played Ohio State, I think they may lose by 2-3 touchdowns right now. That kind of level team. So LSU should be up to that standard and go up there and win that. That's kind of why I picked them. I thought they would maybe win by just a field goal or score a flip by a touchdown. But obviously LSU fell right into the trap of Vanderbilt got the game they needed. They ran the ball 45 times compared to LSU having just 21 rushes, and that's been LSU's like biggest thing this year. They have not been able to run the ball, and of course Nussmeier has not looked himself, been kind of hurt all year. But he had some decent stats, but it just obviously wasn't enough. And like I said, they fell right into the trap of playing Pavia's game and Vanderbilt's game where they just control the clock and just run the ball like crazy. And they still only lost by one touchdown. But yeah, I mean, again, big props to Vanderbilt. And like you said, they got Missouri coming to town. We'll see how long they can keep this streak going. I think Vanderbilt is a good enough team to keep the streak going. But they still have, like you said, a murderer's row left of a schedule. So, like I said, top 10 Vandy, we'll see if they can make the playoff.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right, moving on. I ended up staying up way later than I wanted to this Saturday night because I was about to go to bed and looked at the score of like four of these games. They were all down to the wire. But this one in particular, because you had picked USC to cover the 9.5, I had picked Notre Dame to cover the 9.5. This one goes right down to the wire. Rain pouring down in South Bend. Obviously, I think that favored Notre Dame and their running attack as opposed to USC and that Lincoln Riley offense. But 34-24 was the final. Notre Dame got it done. This game was close. I mean, pretty back and forth. I really didn't know if Notre Dame was going to be able to pull it out. But again, I think that ground game just in the rain helped them out. Notre Dame, look, they're still in the playoff contention. What did they move up this week? They were 13th coming in. They move up a spot
Uh,
or two.
12, yeah, Notre Dame's 12 now.
Okay, so just one spot they moved up. So again, we've talked about it already. They got to keep winning their games by essentially double digits, if not more. I believe they're going to be favored in every single game going forward. But yeah, I'm glad they covered the spread just selfishly. But yeah, it was a good game. And honestly, like this game needs to happen every year. This is if you just stylistically from a college football fan, you look at this game, you see the gold helmets of Notre Dame, you see the Trojans, it just takes you back. It's just like a annual rivalry they had. So just from a traditional standpoint, but yeah, Notre Dame gets it done again, and we're glad they're going to keep rolling.
Yeah, and that rivalry, it makes it better, obviously, when both teams are good. And I think,
Right.
Notre Dame winning this by 10 and USC putting up a decent fight. Maeva played pretty well, throwing 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's had the 2 picks, but obviously USC is pretty good. They were 20th going into this game, so yeah, the rivalry is better when both teams are ranked. But yeah, this Notre Dame team obviously lived by the rush here, 306 yards on the ground, which is wild. But yeah, I mean USC can't run the ball, and that's their problem here. It's been a Lincoln Riley problem for a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, Notre Dame, obviously this is their biggest game they had left on the schedule. The rest of them are quote kind of Power Four cupcakes, if you will. And so this is their last chance to show the committee coming up, and we'll see. It'd be very interesting in like a week or two, whenever the committee comes out with their first rankings, where they slot Notre Dame, because that's like the biggest hill they have to climb. If they're putting them at
Right.
16, 17 now or whatever, which I doubt they will, but like if they're sitting them at like 13 maybe or something like that, I don't know how much more they can jump. They're going to have help to have
Right.
teams lose and stuff. So we'll see where the committee puts them in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think they're going to need some help, and I think they're going to need to just have some dominating wins going forward. So, yeah, we'll see. All right, moving on. A game I really don't want to talk about. I've moved on from it already. Oklahoma traveling to South Carolina take on the Gamecocks. Oklahoma was 5.5-point favorites. They came in ranked number 14. John Mateer did play. He's, I kind of didn't know. Obviously, he played versus Texas with a thumb. I didn't know if it was going to linger or not, but he played. I think we actually held him to his lowest pass yardage of the year. Didn't matter. 26-7 was the final. Big story here is Carolina had 3 stars on offensive line out. 3 more got hurt. Dylan Stewart gets hurt. Not that it mattered. I mean, injuries don't help you, but down 14-7 going to the half. We had a chance to maybe go down and score again. 14-7, we didn't play great. We were in it. I thought we maybe had a chance to get some things going, but it was just ugly. Lenoris is running for his life. But yeah, 26-7 there was the final. Just pretty disappointing from a Gamecocks perspective, but it's very evident that when when Brent Venables is running that defense and running it to his liking, man, they fly all around the ball. There's a reason why they're top in the country in a lot of defensive categories. He just, yeah, I don't know. He's just very good. Obviously, is the reason.
Yeah.
Clemson was so dominant for so many years.
I miss him
and
a lot.
the fact that he's stuck around, right? I mean, you guys were so dominant, and even with good players, you see there is a drop off. It just is what it is. Like he's just a special guy, and he knows how to run that defense and run a lot of different formations out of it. So while I expected them to play good defense, I also expected us to put more than 7 points up on the board. So it is what it is. We got another tough game, but that's the SEC for you. But yeah, you got that one right. You obviously picked OU, and they covered that 5.5 pretty easily.
Yeah, I think the word I used in our text group chat was just atrocious for your offensive line.
Yeah,
it just was not pretty. Not much more to say about that. But yeah, just one little shout out, I guess, is another South Lawrence. I mean, Lenore Sellers. Well, throwing things around. Lenore Sellers is from South Lawrence, of course, my old high school and everything. So obviously shout out to him every single week for being there. But his brother, Jaden Sellers, was y'all's leading receiver in this game. 6 receptions for 57 yards. Freshman from South Lawrence as well. So big shout out to him, and like I said, him getting some reps like that early as a freshman.
Yeah.
Pretty big for y'all. So
yeah. He benefited from some injuries. He benefited from 1 or 2 guys being suspended for some team rules, and I think he took advantage of the opportunity. Obviously, like it's hard to coach, the chemistry between Lenoris and Jaden, no doubt. I will say the one positive outlook, first game with Sean Elliott as obviously the offensive line looked atrocious, but the one positive is that I don't think we had any penalties on offense at all, especially pre-snap penalties, which again, given Will Venable's defense and stuff, like, again,
you'll take that.
Am I happy about that? No, because we got absolutely murdered, but that's like a step in the right direction, at least I would say. So, like, again, trying to be positive here, later on in the week, as I'm trying to still move on from it. But no, yeah, it was ugly, that's for sure.
Yep.
All right, got a couple more, and then we'll get into week 9. BYU taking on Utah, the Holy War, as they call it. Utah coming in ranked number 23, BYU coming in ranked 15th. They got the win 24-21 over the Utes. We both picked Utah. Boy, that was a mistake. I mean, BYU is looking really good. They're undefeated. They're I can't what's his last name? Bear's the quarterback.
Bear Bachmeier.
Bear Bachmeier. Tell the people what number this quarterback wears.
47.
Crazy. He's got a like fullback number or a linebacker number, and it just looks strange. It makes you look less athletic, but that is not the case. I think his brother is also on the team. Is that right? If I saw correctly, I believe.
It may be.
But man, I tell you what in it like BYU is like good. I mean, they had the same thing when they had what's his name a few years ago, and here we are again. Like I can't even think of the guy's name. Got drafted by the Jets.
Oh
Quarterback. I'm
yeah.
totally blanking.
Yep.
But that guy, everyone knows who we're talking about. But holy cow, 7-0, another big game this coming week we'll talk about. But shout out BYU, they have one of the like coolest looking environments in college football. If you just look at the mountain range by their stadium, it's pretty sweet. But yeah, BYU gets it done 24-21, and we both picked that one wrong too, Jacob, unfortunately.
Yeah, add it to the loss column. That quarterback was Zach Wilson.
Sorry.
Yep. Nailed it.
Just
same
hit me.
Time. Yep, Zach Wilson. But yeah, I add this one to the loss column for me too. I just thought Utah program wise, they were kind of back this year, and I thought they would be able to go in there and win the Holy War. But I mean, that's why they play the games, right? And this was a big win for BYU. They're 7-0 on the season. Apparently losing their quarterback in the kicking them off the team for not following team rules, whatever it was, that didn't really hurt him. Bear Myers has slid right in and done a decent job, been a decent game manager, and like I said, they're able to run the ball for 202 yards in this game. So just doing enough to win, and that's all they need. Especially in the Big 12 right now, they're undefeated. But I mean, who knows where the Big 12 is going to go? Like for this conference race. I mean, BYU's there, Cincinnati's still undefeated. Like there's several teams in there, one loss. Like Texas Tech is there. Like I mean, who knows? And that's what we say that every single year going into the Big 12. Who the heck knows who's going to win it? But I mean, BYU right now is undefeated, so we'll see. They're in the lead right now, but they're 11th in the country now, so they're primed for a playoff position too. Whether they make or win the Big 12 or not, they may still could be right there. So yeah, big win for the BYU.
That's going to be a big argument if they don't win the Big 12. Let's say they lose one game, so it's going to be like, are you taking a 2-loss? Or even a 3-loss SEC team that's ranked right around the same, or you taking a 1-loss BYU? Like it's going to be, a lot of contention there. So we'll see. It'll be in the committee's hands, which I don't know if that's a great thing either, but better than the AP, that's for sure. All right, moving on. Last game we'll cover in Week 8 before moving on to Week 9. Your Clemson Tigers hosting SMU. No Cade Klubnik. Sorry, I got to pronounce that right. SMU got the win 35-24 to move on to 5-2 in the year. Clemson falls to 3-4. I didn't think Vizina played bad at all, to be completely honest with you. Like, and if I remember correctly in the group chat, I think you were like, hey, definitely wasn't his fault. This was like a defensive issue. Again, we kind of just mentioned Venables. Again, not watching every single play of this game, and this certainly doesn't like help by any means, but like I feel like you guys didn't look like you killed yourselves, played atrociously. Like you guys you know what I'm saying? Like there was like you guys were just playing so shaky early in the year and like fragmented and just like couldn't get anything together. It didn't quite look like that. It just looked like, hey, like SMU's the better team. We can't really stop them. The offense was like, I mean, yeah, I know the run game's still an issue, but like for a backup quarterback, and again, you were rightly concerned about when he's coming in garbage time, he's actually thrown interceptions, turn the ball over. Is that a case of, hey, I'm trying to force and make plays while I get my chance? I'm playing with backups, or is that, you know what I'm saying? So like you were right for having those expectations. But I thought he played pretty well altogether. I'm gonna look at his stat line real quick: 29-42, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns. Pretty damn good stat line. Obviously, you guys ran for 35 yards as a team. That is the big issue right now, right? Like you guys got to get a running back. So I thought one thing I thought that was very obvious, and not that you need me to tell you this, but watching Antonio Williams get the ball in space and make plays, like the way he did was like, man, you guys really missed him early in the year. He's just a playmaker from wherever he gets the ball from, and hopefully he stays healthy. You guys have had some injuries as well in that receiver room, but anyway, the floor is yours, Jacob, when it comes to your Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, man. So SMU was favored, or I'm sorry, Clemson was favored 9.5, and I feel like
Yeah,
that. I mean, obviously SMU won by 11, so it almost seems like the wrong team was favored by 9.5. And
yeah,
so when I saw that line, I was like, yeah, I'm taking SMU in there. That was even with or without Cade, because like you said it pretty well. Christopher Vizina came in there and played pretty damn well. Like I said, I didn't have high expectations because of what I've seen before. But I mean, I think Cade would have basically done the exact same thing in this game. The only thing Cade would have
yeah,
done maybe had a better, made a little bit more happen with his legs, kind of thing. But I mean, yeah, it was just on this defense. I think Tom Allen came out and said, yeah, this defense is being handicapped by a lot of things, but mainly, I think he said like our corners, we can't play man to man, and that kind of handicaps our defense and like what he can call. And he even went ahead and said that's got to be addressed in the offseason. So I don't know what that means for the defense for the rest of the year. I've said it before. I'm not really looking for anything the rest of the year, kind of thing. Just kind of like what we could do for the future. And it sucks to lose this game, but I mean SMU, like I said, it is good. This was an ACC championship rematch, but obviously
yep,
much different circumstances. And yeah, it was good to have Antonio Williams in there. TJ Moore I want to shout that out. He did have that one insane one-handed catch for a
yeah,
touchdown. It was like 50-some yard, 60-yard touchdown, whatever. He didn't even try to catch it with his other hand. He just caught it one-handed, just kept running in his stride. So beautiful ball from Zena and hell of a catch from Moore. But it sucks to lose not Adam Randall, Bryant Wesco Jr. for the year. A scary neck injury kind of thing.
yeah,
I think it was returning a punt and he got tackled, kind of flipped over, landed on his helmet, kind of landed. I think he even played some after that. He didn't look like he was hurt that bad, but I guess they're just being extremely careful with him because next, of course, nothing you want to mess around with. So sucks to lose him for the year, and I guess we'll possibly get Cade back for the next game or something. With that sprained ankle, he may be back, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what we have like to look forward to when we play, even like Florida State or y'all or whatever, because I think anybody can score on this defense, and it just sucks to say that because we thought that would be different this year, but obviously it's not.
Yeah, you're right. All right, quick two just quick I want to mention. Texas beat Kentucky by 3 in overtime. The Longhorns barely pull it out. And then A&M beats Arkansas by 3, 45-42 in a shootout. So some of the crazy games going on. All right, Jacob, give us our picks from Week 8. How do we do in Week 8? And what's the total so far through 8 weeks of the season?
Yeah, I certainly will tell you that in just a second. But actually, it just rang in my mind. Billy Donovan got fired from Florida. I don't know if we talked about that.
Billy Napier.
Napier. Donovan, basketball
coach. Still Florida, though. You're on it.
Yep. 2 Billies, but this Billy's gone.
This Billy. That sounds like
this Billy's gone.
This one's gone.
And yeah, so I mean that's been like a past year or two, been in the rumblings for a good while. Some people thought it would happen last year. Obviously, it's happened now. I don't. What's your thoughts on the timing of it? Who do you think? I mean, I think the Lane Kiffin is like the big name that everybody's throwing out there.
Yeah,
him or Eli Drinkowitz, and I mean, who would be the replacement? What's your thoughts on it all?
I've seen that. I'm not a big fan of firing coaches and the leader just in general. I don't think it's really going to help anything. I think in Napier's case, I know he's on the hot seat last year. So the thing is about some of these teams is like the coaches are doing pretty good, and then who's actually going to come in and do any better, right? But I think my thing with Napier is, look, they have one of the tougher schedules in the country the last couple of years, but that is the SEC, so to be expected. Last year he has a young DJ Lagway, he has Graham Mertz. Mertz gets hurt. Lagway's going through injuries. The same thing this year. Like, what are you going to bring? Who are you going to bring in that's going to fix this? I don't think it's an easy fix. I'm not saying he didn't deserve to lose the job, but just as a simple way to look at it from my point of view was, if James Franklin got fired at Penn State, then absolutely get rid of Napier. Like, I know that's not a fair comparison, but like, if we're getting rid of James Franklin, who has been there for 12 years, a few plays away from going to the national championship last year. 2 weeks ago, beating Oregon in overtime at the time, and now they've obviously kind of imploded slightly. Then and if he deserves to get fired, then absolutely what Napier's done there, which is a hell of a lot less, probably should go as well. And I know we're not here to just compare programs, but I think at some point you have to know that you're going to maybe have a down year. Now, granted, without Drew Aller, and not to move this to a Penn State topic, but like without Drew Aller, they're going to struggle, I would think. But what if they made a run and they ended up 9-3? Like, yeah, you're not going to the playoff. I get that, but you don't think any of these NFL head coaches, Bill Belichick, never went 8-8 for the Patriots? And I know it's different; it's not the same. Like at some point, you're going to have a lull. You still presumably have a really good coaching recruiting class coming in, and I think I've probably touched on this last week. So to me, it's just, yeah, Franklin's getting fired. Like, yeah, Napier, you've already been on the hot seat. Like, you're out too. As far as the coaching search goes and Lane Kiffin, that'll be interesting. I mean, Florida obviously in history has probably been more of a championship contender than Ole Miss for sure. Facilities are probably a hell of a lot better there too. Like, do you just, and he did coach in Florida before at FAU. Like, do you just move across and coach Florida? I mean, look, Lane Kiffin doesn't give a damn about leaving a team or whatever. Like, he's done this in the past with Tennessee and a lot of these other guys. Like, whatever he leaves behind, good for him. Like, he's peacing out. Like, would Drinkowitz leave? I don't know. He's built up a pretty good program there at Mizzou. I don't know. TBD, we'll see. But yeah, to me, my simple mind, it's Franklin's gone. Yeah, Napier can be gone too.
Yeah, and I like the way you phrased that. If that is the case, then yeah, that has to happen. So yeah, we'll just have to see how the rest of the season plays out because I don't think the coach firings are done. Possibly Auburn,
No.
possibly FSU, those kind of things. So we'll see where it all lands later at the end of the year. But yeah, so end of week 8, like I said, wasn't a hot week for picks for really either one of us, but I went 2-5 this week, and JCU went 3-4. Funny enough, that brings us to our year totals after 8 weeks. We are tied at 25-31. I think our goals of trying to get to 500, it's not over, but it's getting slowly it's getting further away from us. So we gotta have a really damn good week this week. Maybe go 7-0, flip the script just like that.
That'd be nice because again, I know we're battling each other, but let me get to 500 and then that goal normally gets me in a good spot. So,
For sure.
All right, before we move on, shout out to our sponsor, East Coast Golf. Go to eastcoastgolf.us, sign up via email, get 10% off your first order. Premium golf apparel, polos, hats. Jacob's got the sticker there. Appreciate it. I got one of the t-shirts on eastcoastgolf.us. All right, Jacob, here we go. We're into week 9 of the college football season. Again, we've already talked about game day will be in Nashville to see Missouri take on the Commodores of Vanderbilt. We will get to that game, but let's start off with probably a lot of other people's game of the week. Texas A&M coming in ranked number 3. They are traveling to Louisiana, taking the LSU Tigers. This game is at 7:30 on ABC. A&M is 2.5-point favorites. Who you got?
Yes, sir. SEC kind of serving us up another banger here. Another night game at Death Valley, and yeah, this one is going to be a big test for A&M. Just because of being at Death Valley, I think LSU's obviously got some problems to work out. It'll be interesting to see Marcel Reed versus Blake Baker's defense and LSU's defense. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the golden number for A&M is they can get like 24 or 28 against this LSU defense, then they should be able to win this game and obviously to cover the 2.5. And I really think that they can. I think this year, is it Mike Elko? Is that the name? Is that the coach's name? Yep. I really think he's got this squad kind of peaking at the right time. And this is, I really think they can do it. In years past, I couldn't really say that. And I think this A&M team is, with Fisher and other, like, it just feels like it's been the Penn State of the SEC, if you will. Good, but just not good enough. And if they're good enough this year, being ranked 3rd, this should be not a breeze, but should be one they should go in there and win and cover. So I'm going to take Texas A&M to cover the 2.5.
Yeah, I am too, man. I think if Nussmeier was, I feel like 100% and they were playing pretty well. I think this has nothing to do with him losing to Vanderbilt. I just think that they haven't really been playing that well. And right now, the way A&M's rolling, I trust that offense, maybe not as much as LSU, but I do trust that defense. And right now, LSU is just not very dynamic on offense that we've been kind of used to seeing the last couple of years. So I'm with you, man. I'm going to take A&M. I'm going to take the 2.5 points. I think they go into Death Valley and get a big win and, have an argument for, the top 1 or 2 spots in the country, which is pretty crazy. Mike Elko coming over from Duke, and holy cow, has he not that A&M was a bad program, but he kind of took them and elevated them even higher. So,
for sure.
Yeah, can't wait to see it. All right. Man, another tough one. Number 4, Alabama traveling to Columbia, take on the Gamecocks. This is a 3:30 kick on ABC. Alabama 12.5-point favorites. Man, I don't like this at all. To be completely honest with you, Alabama, we talked about rolling. Carolina on the other side, the opposite of rolling, which is running backwards. It seems, at least that's what Lenore Sellers has been doing. So,
Yep.
You remember last year, hell of a game. We had multiple chances prior to win it. Even at the end, we score a late touchdown to Nick Harbor. We actually get the onside kick, and I think we ended up scoring again. We had to go for 2. Like, super crazy scenario. That was in Tuscaloosa. Like, so a lot of those guys are still on the team. Like, this is a beatable team, right?
Ooh.
Now, are we going to beat them is the thing. It really depends on what South Carolina team shows up, to be completely honest. Like, does the O-line show up? Most of the guys that were out last game, including Dylan Stewart and most of the O-line, Casey Henry, I believe, is the only O-lineman that's out. He's probably going to be out for the year. So, potentially a somewhat healthy O-line. We're playing at home. You would think that would help a little bit. I'm an eternal optimist of all time. Good thing we're picking the spread and not straight up, because I don't know what I would do. But 12.5 at home. Think about last year's game. Like, hey, crazier things have happened. Vandy's top 10 in the country. So, like, this wouldn't be as surprising as that, I would say. So give me Carolina. Give me the 12.5. And let's hope we can turn the season around and maybe get to a bowl game. Because right now, the way it's looking, Jacob, we might be 4-8,
We'll both
or
be
no,
5-6.
4-6, and 4-6 playing each other. Clemson and Carolina playing each other for maybe we get a bowl game at 5 wins. They kind of hand those out occasionally. So,
oh yeah, a Super Bowl at the end of the year. We're both 5-6. The winner goes to a bowl.
Hey, that's how it used to be growing up, dude. I remember
Yeah.
that. That's why it was so big. But yeah,
Yeah.
give me the Gamecocks and the points on that one.
I guess I could say I'm surprised, but then again, I'm not really surprised. I don't give a piss about nothing but Tide. Roll Tide is what I'm going to say here.
Oh, man.
I honestly, you could have given me 19.5 maybe, and I would still take Bama.
19.5?
Anything under 20, I still probably would have taken. I know I said earlier that Bama has gone through the past 4 games have been like pretty rough. They won them all, but they've been in 4 ranked games and stuff. So this is like the 5th ranked game in a row. So like that's not an easy stretch. And that I think would be the only thing that would kind of bite me here, for them not to cover the 12.5. I think Bama will win this game almost no matter what. Watch that come to bite me, because this is the last game of October as well. But yeah, we'll see about that. But I can't see, after what South Carolina has shown me the past several weeks, whether they've had linemen hurt or not, that offensive line is just atrocious, man. And that's just nothing against your team. It's just this year is just not the year for that. Just like you say, a lot of things about this is just not our year for Clemson as well. But yeah, I just don't think it's going to go too well, because this Bama team is playing just as good, if not better, than everybody in the country, besides Ohio State right now. So, yeah, give me Bama to cover the 12.5, and I feel pretty good about it.
I'm going to put 19.5. I'm going to make that your new spread. See if you cover that one. Who knows? It's either going to be we're like pulling an upset, or we're getting beat by 40. That's kind of how I feel in this one. All right. We're gonna stick with the SEC for the next couple games. Number 8, Ole Miss traveling to Norman to take on the Oklahoma Sooners. They're ranked number 13. This is a noon kick on ABC. Oklahoma opens up as 5.5-point favorites. Jacob, I'm taking Ole Miss, and this is why. Mateer has not looked the same, rightfully so. He's coming off hand surgery. Has not looked the same as when he was leading kind of this Heisman Trophy race there before he got hurt. Obviously, best defense in the nation, I would say, arguably, Ole Miss, very, very good offense. I don't know that Oklahoma is gonna like play the shootout game with Ole Miss. They can. What Mateer do we get? Is he 100% now? It's been a few weeks. TBD. So I like Ole Miss plus the 5.5. Not super confident, but they have been playing well. I know they just come off the loss, but like that loss to Georgia, hopefully, it's a loss. Maybe breed some confidence in them. We'll see. I'm not a huge Lane Kiffin guy, but a Lane Kiffin offense is something that is, normally pretty high powered. So they're going into Norman, I know, but give me the Rebels plus the 5.5.
Yeah, no, I'm actually going to stick with you as well and go Ole Miss plus 5.5. I originally wrote down Oklahoma. I thought that there may be like a little bit of distraction this week with Lane Kiffin and like I said, the Florida job, and he
Right.
may have his mind elsewhere. And like I said, this is in Norman. Mateer could possibly be fully healthy now, and could be lighting it up. After we saw what Georgia did last week against this Ole Miss defense, but that was like a game of a life kind of thing for Gunnar Stockton. I don't see Mateer going Superman like that right now. And like I said, I feel pretty good about this Ole Miss offense about being able to score, even though this Oklahoma defense is like basically said like number one defense in the country by like total defense and like several other statistics.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is going to be a close game. And the 5.5, man, I feel like Oklahoma's going to win this game, but I just don't know if Ole Miss will be able to. Oklahoma will be able to cover that. So I could see this being a field goal game, a 28-24 kind of game, and that's why I say Ole Miss will cover the 5.5. So that's my pick, but I think Oklahoma will win.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't, I know I didn't say that, but I kind of do feel like Oklahoma will maybe pull this game out if it's a little bit of a lower scoring game. I don't see necessarily Ole Miss running away with it, but yeah, that's why I picked the spread,
Yeah.
so I'll take it. All right, Jacob, I'm gonna let you start off on the next one, mainly because I have no idea what I'm doing on this one. I got every pick made except for this one. All right, college game day, number 10 Vandy hosting number 15 Missouri. This is a 3:30 kick on ESPN. Vandy, again, second week in the row, favored versus a top 25 opponent. They are 2.5-point favorites over the Tigers. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm actually going to take, and I know I lost this one last week, and I had LSU going into Vandy, and winning or covering that, and I lost that one. But I'm gonna be dumb again, and I'm gonna pick Missouri plus 2.5. I think my reasoning is that Missouri defense is different than LSU's defense when it comes to how they approach a running quarterback. I know LSU's got one of the better defenses in the country, but again, like I talked about, LSU fell into the type of game that Vanderbilt wanted. And I don't know if Missouri's going to allow that to happen because Pavia had like 17 rushes for like a decent amount of yards against
Yeah.
LSU. And this Missouri team knows that's the one thing they have to stop. Force anybody else to run the ball on them. And Missouri's been very good at that all year long. You saw what they did to Lenora Sellers, probably the best running quarterback in the country, where he had like negative some rushing yards when you accounted for sacks and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, they did that last week against Auburn, who, Jackson Arnold, I don't want to say he can't throw the ball, but he's known for, his legs and everything he can do there. And they held him to a lot less rushing yards than he normally gets. So I really think that they're going to be able to kind of contain Diego Pavia and force him to beat him through the air. And I think that Missouri will be able to go in there and actually pull this one out by, again, a close game, field goal, touchdown kind of spread, if you will. But I feel like this run for Vandy has got to end somewhere, right? And this is not going to be a bad loss. Like Missouri is pretty damn good, and they just have such a schedule. I mean, man, it's got to happen at some point, right? But hey, this Vandy team may be one of the greatest teams we've seen in a good while. So I could easily be proven wrong, and based on my track record for my picks this year, I'm probably going to be proven wrong. But I'm gonna go Missouri plus 2.5.
So right as you went to start talking, I went ahead and circled my pick, which was Vandy. So I was happy when you picked Missouri. But I'm kind of the same boat as you, right? It's one of those things where, like, yeah, it's got to end sometime. That's kind of what I was thinking last week. Still pick Vandy. I'm going to trust Vandy again on this one. I know Auburn's a good team, but Missouri, didn't think they were going to pull that one out. I still think Prabula is a really good quarterback. Hardy is one of the toughest backs to bring down. But right now, man, it's just like, I don't know if this is quite that magical year yet. Like, I don't know. There's still a lot of game to be played, so it's not like this is March Madness when like we only got a few games left in the season. Like, I mean, there are a few games left, but in football it's a little bit different, right? So like, there's still time for this thing to go a little bit sideways. But right now, man, Vandy's got so much momentum. Obviously, the spotlight hasn't hurt them at all. Pavia relishes in that, whether you like it or not. And I just think that, sometimes the stars align and game day is going to be there and it's Nashville and all eyes are going to be on them. And I think Pavia is absolutely going to just feed off that. But they still have to execute. But I think they've proven that they can do that amidst all the other distractions. So give me Vandy, and holy cow, the boys are going to be 7-1 and going to be freaking top, probably top
Already
8
top 10.
after
Give me
this.
top
Already
8.
top
Yeah.
10, yeah. So we'll see how far they go. So this will be one I'll be tuned into for sure. So can't wait to watch. All right, let's get out of the SEC finally, and let's move into I believe the Big 12. I can't keep up anymore. Number 11 BYU traveling to Ames, Iowa to take on the Iowa State Cyclones. Let me find where this game's at for you real quick. There we go. 3:30 on Fox. Iowa State 2.5-point favorites. We talked about BYU. We haven't talked about Iowa State in a little bit. But again, 2.5-point favorites for the Cyclones. Jacob, who you got?
Yeah, does this first I want to ask you a question. Does this spread kind of surprise you?
So, yes, and this is what's a pain in my ass is that this is such an easy pick. Should be BYU. But then it's like, what the hell does Vegas know? And Vegas knows something. So, like,
yeah,
I already know that I should go with Vegas, but I don't want to.
Yeah, Vegas plays tricks with your mind about all these spreads, and it hurts, man. It hurts, and we don't even bet a lot of money on this stuff, but it still just hurts. Just picking the game wrong. Yeah, I was really surprised by this line. Iowa State's coming off of 2 losses. They were 5-0 to start the year, and they lost at Cincinnati and then at Colorado. I guess that they're coming off of a bye, so I guess maybe that like they're Vegas is expecting them. Hey, they got them at home. And, BYU just had a tough game against Utah. Maybe that's what they're thinking. And Rocco Beck is good. But, like, I just, man, I had to pick BYU plus 2.5. I'm going to fall for the trap. If that's the trap, I'm going to fall for it because I just think BYU is riding really high off of that big rivalry win against Utah. And, like, I always say they're coming off of a bye, but, like, come on. Like, they just lost to Colorado. And I know Colorado is, like, not what they were last year. So like I question it a lot. And so I just feel like I'd be a moron if I look back and I just don't pick BYU here. You give me 2 points, give me BYU plus 2.5, and I will gladly say I'm wrong next pod if I lose this one.
No, and I agree. I also picked BYU, plus the 2.5. I just again I forgot what the example was, but there was one game this year where I swear some underdog, at least in our eyes, or unranked versus ranked, they like favored them by like 10 points. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? And like, sure enough, like that's kind of how it happened. I can't remember that specific game off the top of my head. So like, I should trust Vegas, and I'm trusting Vegas in a lot of these other ones, going forward. But I'm with you, man. I think that your quarterback's name is Bayer, wearing 47. Like, how do you pick against that?
Stay hung on
dude,
that.
you know what I just thought of? Remember how we had BYU going on last year?
Yeah, Retzlaff.
Now with Retzlaff. Now we got Bayer, the Bear Jew. Come on. You know what that's from, right?
Enlighten me.
Have you seen the movie Inglourious Bastards?
I have, but it's been forever ago.
All right. I'll tell you all about. I'm not going to go into all the details in it now, but great movie. If you're an American, if you're German, not so much. At least back in the 40s. But anyway, that was one of the characters on the screen. He was kind of an enforcer for the little American vigilante group there in World War II. It's all fiction, guys. Don't worry about it. Anyways, so yeah, I think now that my crazy brain connected those dots, I'm definitely hammering BYU this week.
I like it.
All right, moving on. Probably some teams we haven't talked about since earlier in the year. Number 18, South Florida traveling to Memphis to take on the Tigers. South Florida 4.5-point favorites. A noon kick on ESPN2. Now, Memphis was undefeated, ranked in the top 25. They lose to UAB, that's Alabama Birmingham, last week. South Florida opened up the season, dominant performance over Boise State, 34-7, I think was the final. Week 2, they go and beat Florida. So they're reeling at 2-0. They end up getting stomped out by Miami. That's their only blemish on the season. Holy cow, South Florida, like, also maybe trying to sneak their way into the playoff. Again, Memphis undefeated, ranked. Now they had the upset last week. So they're like, are they coming off trying to pull this upset? Again, it's at Memphis. 4.5-point favorites for the Bulls. I'm taking South Florida. I'm going to trust Vegas on this one. I don't know a lot about these teams, again, since week 1. But if you're telling me week 1 they beat a top 25 Boise team, at least to start the year. I don't know what the record is at this current moment. And then you go and beat an SEC team, which I believe, I think that was on the road again, I would imagine. This team's got some dogs on the roster. So give me the Bulls minus the 4.5.
I like it. And yeah, I wanted to pick this game because we want to give some flowers to South Florida, who started off the season hot, but has kept this run going, being 6-1. And to kind of shout out the American Conference as a whole, because it seems like, now that Boise's kind of taking a slight step back, it'll probably be the group of 5 or whatever you want to call them, team that gets into the playoff will probably be whoever wins this American Conference.
Could be.
This is kind of like the Big 12 of the group of 5, if you will. And there's several good teams like Tulane's undefeated, South Florida's undefeated, Navy's undefeated, and Memphis being 2-1. Like I said, it sucks for them losing that to UAB last week, but this is their last shot, if you will, to try to make the playoff. That's why I'm going to pick Memphis plus 4.5. Even if it's, you're going to give me a field goal, they could lose by a field goal, and I still get the pick right. That's why I'm picking it. I think just back against the wall for Memphis. They're 6-1. They were, a lot of, if I remember correctly, a lot of people picked them as like the team from last year to kind of make the playoff. And
Yep.
the same team as well. Like, they're looking pretty good. And like I said, it sucks for them to lose last week, but they get South Florida at home, and South Florida has looked amazing this year. And that's why it worries me. But I'm gonna stick with Memphis plus 4.5. Like I said, the last chance. They already got that one conference loss. If they're gonna make a run, it's gonna be this year or right now. And yeah, I'm gonna see if they can keep it close.
I like it. All right, moving on. Last game we're gonna cover on the year. I'm sorry, on the year. Yeah, we're done. We're done after this. Of the week. I'm sorry. My apologies. All right. We have number 21 Cincinnati hosting the Baylor Bears, a 4:00 kick on ESPN2. Cincinnati, 3.5-point favorites. Again, Cincinnati, one loss on the season. That was to Nebraska week 1. Baylor, they're coming in 4-3. Their biggest win, they beat SMU in double overtime earlier in the year, so they obviously have a team. You see what SMU we just talked about, they're 5-2 in the ACC. Still a chance to win that conference as well. But yeah, 3.5-point favorites. I'm gonna trust Vegas. I'm gonna trust Cincinnati. I think that right now, I don't like, them, BYU, like who's one in the Big 12, TBD. But right now, I like Cincinnati at home versus the Bears to cover the 3.5.
How about that? Somebody's going to have a good week. Somebody's going to have a bad week, because I'm going with Baylor plus 3.5. It's probably going to be me that has the bad week, so I'm kind of going on some limbs here. But I just feel like this is the most Big 12 game coming up now. With Cincinnati being 6-1, 4-0 in the conference, like, okay, we look like we have a couple of teams that are kind of, looking like they're going to be at the top of the conference, and then bam, even late in the season, this is what happens to the Big 12. Freaking, they just eat each other alive, and Baylor beats Cincinnati. And so that's what I'm banking on, just absolute chaos in the Big 12. And I think this Baylor team, obviously defense is not very good at all, but I mean, I really think Sawyer Robinson is really good. And I feel like this Baylor team will be able to keep it close, be a high-scoring game. And yeah, just why not go out on a limb and have Baylor win this one? Because that's exactly what the Big 12 does, right? Just completely chaos every single year.
You are right. It seems like that's the one league we can never figure out. Not a lot of defense, really good offense, and like you said, they kind of just beat up themselves. And there's really no one that like gets, at least, we like the SEC, the Big Ten, like they do beat up on themselves, but don't we still have like a 2-3 that kind of rise to the top and are at a different level. But the Big 12, you're right. Like we're gonna see, hopefully shortly, who's the real deal and who's not. So yeah, we differ on a few games. Can't wait to see what happens. Another huge week. playoff implications obviously are on the line pretty much now going forward to the end of the year. Just a couple more weeks, we will have the college football rankings finally, and that'll give us even more stuff to talk about. We can stop giving the AP poll any type of noise whatsoever, because I don't think they deserve much coverage. At least that's positive. So, Jacob, if we got nothing else, man, I appreciate it, and hopefully our teams can get a well, your team's getting a win because you guys are off. So
I don't know, dude. I think we lost the bye earlier this year. So
you did lose that bye week, but I think this bye week's a little different. I think you guys are going to win this bye week. So
okay, appreciate the confidence. Yeah,
and we got Bam at home, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. No bye week here.
There we go. Yes, sir. That's all I got. So we'll be looking forward to another good weekend of college football, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, man. See you on the next one.
See you.